What's up guys, and welcome back to 8 Count. Today we're going to be talking about the long-awaited strongest man fight between Eddie Hall and Hafthor Bjornsson. So this fight, we've been waiting for it for about 2 years, for those who have been interested in it, right? And there was that 2-year break. Eddie Hall was plagued with injuries. I think he tore his bicep or something like that. And Thor has since then just been training out and out boxing. I know he had, I think it was about 2 fights. He fought some guy who's, do you know those slapping competitions? He fought one of those guys, I believe. And I think even though he probably didn't gain a lot of experience, it was just getting under the lights, trying to listen to your coaches under the lights, perfecting your technique, and then going from there. Eddie Hall went into his first fight on the weekend against Thor, and we all saw how that went. So, the fight. It was clear from round 1 what both of their intentions were. You could see from the jump that Thor was the more experienced fighter. He kind of took his time. He was taking a lot of shots, and that's one thing I'm going to touch on. But it was clear that Eddie Hall took center ring. You can see that there wasn't much stamina, there wasn't much movement. He was kind of static. He was leaving himself open 2 shots. One could say he had that Mayweather style shots. He was very side on, but that's reaching. The fight. Okay, so from round 1, Eddie Hall was throwing these big shots. They both were using a southpaw stance. That's what they came out in. But Eddie Hall kept switching it up. Like, there wasn't any clear indication of what his actual stance was. And I guess you could put that down to his training, whether he had a good training camp or not. Thor was a lot more calm and composed. He knew what he was going to do. The first 2 rounds, it was quite a tough fight for Thor. Eddie Hall was putting out his power shots. I don't recall him throwing a jab. All of it was like over the hand rights. It was trying to go for the kill. And he hit Thor with a big shot and gave him an 8 count. Ironically, gave him an 8 count. And then it went on to the second round, I believe, and he knocked him down again, but they gave it as a push, which I don't think it was. But yeah, like, that was the only 2 rounds that I saw that was good for Eddie. Apart from that, Thor, like I said, way better. He was jabbing, he looked more calm, looked composed. It looked like he was picking his shots. And ultimately, he was just the clear better fighter on the night. He cut Eddie Hall's eyes on both sections, here and here. And from there, I feel like Eddie was in deep water. He didn't know what he was doing. And it was clear, like, he got knocked down twice. And you could, although he got back up and continued to fight, you can tell he was stunned. One thing I'm going to say about this fight, I'm so impressed with their stamina. Like, we've seen big fighters like, for example, Arms Corleone in another social media style fight. I wouldn't call this a social media style fight, but obviously they're not professional boxers. But we saw Arms Corleone, who had similar physique to people like Thor and Eddie Hall, and he was just burnt out from, I'd say, from the second round onwards. Whereas these 2 guys looked in great condition. I feel like they could have went on for a couple more rounds. So, touching on their training, apparently people are saying that Eddie Hall boxed with a broken hand. You could see from his stance, everything was his right hand. Everything. The power punches, the jab, everything. The other hand was up there, but it didn't do anything. It was like it was just there for the fact that he's not leaving himself open. Like I said, he was side on for 90% of the fight. As soon as he realized he's in deep water and Thor was pushing his dominance onto him, it was clear that he didn't want to be in that fight. You know, when he got knocked down, he looked to his corner and he was looking at the timer and he just didn't want to be in there anymore. Again, no one knows the trainers of these two fighters. It's probably most likely people local. I know Eddie Hall trained with Vidal Riley for a spar, and that came out on Vidal's channel recently. But what can you teach someone who hasn't boxed ever in their life? It's hard at the age of 30 plus. Teaching someone a whole craft of boxing is going to be hard. The fact that they got in there and had the fights, and they didn't give up when they got knocked down is a lot. Thor, you can tell he took training seriously. He has looked so good. If you look at his first fight where he was kind of static, open, he was a bit much like Eddie in this fight. You can see now he was confident. Took him 2 rounds to settle those nerves down, but once he got into that fight, from the 3rd round, it was curtains. And he just took complete dominance of that fight. I guess it's strange, right? Because Thor's put aside his strongest man career to do this boxing stuff. I don't know how the longevity is of a career in that profession is, but it'll be hard for him to go back to the peak of what he was then. And we all know why the rivalry started. Obviously, there was a bit of unsportsmanlike behavior between the two. It then went into the deadlift competition where Thor broke his record by 1 kilo, I believe it was. And yeah, like, it'll be interesting. I would love to see like Arms Corleone versus Thor, because like just with their physiques, it would just look so sick. This was a Titan weight fight. I've never even heard of Titan weight fights. But where do I see them going from here? It's hard to say. Eddie Hall, I don't know. Like, you can see he has the power. He has that raw power. Obviously, he's built, but it doesn't mean you have strength. But you can tell that he has that knockout power. Knocked down Thor twice. That's not hard. That's not easy to do. That's like almost a 7-foot man, you know. But do I see him getting in the ring again? Probably not. With Thor, I can see him in the ring again. He has a lot better technique. It looks like he took the fight a bit more seriously. Obviously, like I said, he had that 2-year gap where he was focusing on just boxing, whereas Eddie Hall was injured. But yeah, I would love to see Thor fight again. I think it was quite an entertaining fight in comparison to some of the social media style fights we get. I feel like that fight was up there with some of the best ones we've seen. But yeah, like, I think we saw a good fight there, and I would love to see them back in the ring. So guys, if you like this video, let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe, check us out for more, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.